Spokesman for the Recall Gascon campaign, Tim Lineberger, joins us right now from Laguna Beach, California. Tim, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, so you got about 150,000 more petitions than you need. What happens next?
That's correct. So the next step will be the registrar has 30 working days to count those petitions. They're still determining whether they will count just a 5% sample batch only or the entire submission. And from that point, we're hopeful and optimistic that they will verify that we have the required signatures and that this will move on to a ballot as early as November or as late as January of next year.
That's right. This is the second recall for him. Another one fizzled out less than a year ago. But this one seems different because you've got all of these sheriffs, I think in 30 towns or something like that, chiefs of police who have no confidence in him. We saw that terrible tragedy a few weeks ago where two El Monte police officers were murdered by somebody who was sprung by Gascon's own policies, although he says he did nothing wrong. And there's some of the aftermath from mid-June. So it seems like people are fed up with what has happened.
I think that's absolutely the case. And yesterday, when we turned in 717,000 signatures, they certainly sent that message pretty resoundingly. So, you know, with Gascon, I think it's just been a total disaster for the residents of Los Angeles. And it's not just victims and residents who are fed up and who are aware of what he's doing. It's also criminals, and that's really become the problem with all of this, is that criminals are completely emboldened. They feel like they can act with impunity. It's why you hear and see the tapes of people saying they want to get Gascon's name tattooed on their forehead, convicted murderers, or cheersing him from in jail. So I think everybody is aware of it at this point, and people are fed up, and that's why they've taken the action that they have.
And we've got a graphic that shows that in a period about 6 months before he took office versus right now, look at that, shooting crimes up over 50%, homicide up 30%, goes on and on. My question for you, Tim, is if you guys are able to get rid of him, who's going to take his place? It could be somebody just as bad.
I actually have a hard time believing that anybody could do a worse job as district attorney than George Gascon at this point, based on his performance. I'm sure there will be a number of qualified candidates that step up. I know there are a few DDAs that are interested in running who have been helpful in pushing this effort. So I'm very optimistic that you'll get somebody in there who, at the very least, just carries out the duties of the district attorney's office and follows the law, which is something that George Gascon is not doing and has not done.
Mr. Gascon's office put out a statement after you delivered all of those petitions to the appropriate authority. They say, we remain focused on the work of keeping communities safe and creating a more equitable justice system as we have been since day one. That's what they're all about. Equity, isn't it?
Well, I think they say that, but not at all. They also like to use the word reform and lots of little buzzwords. That's how George Gascon got elected, by telling people he was going to move the criminal justice system into the 21st century. It's all the same talking points, and really all it is soft-pedaling soft-on-crime policies. So I think that's really, he pulled one over on voters, and very quickly people saw the actual effects of what he was doing, and that's why there was such a quick backlash and outrage, especially really from the victims at first. And you mentioned the first effort. That was really a victim-started and led effort. And I think with this second time around, we were actually able to build up the resources necessary from the get-go to launch and succeed in such a monumental effort.
All right. Well, the next stop is you're going to verify all the signatures. Let's see what happens next. Tim, thank you very much for joining us today from California.
Thank you so much.
You bet.